Hello. I just got in the shower and I realized that because I was telling my sister the name of this Clyde Anderson, and I kept putting Doctor Anderson, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. I have to go check it because I was watching him on YouTube. He used to be with the Carter administration, and he has a lot of ideas um, about where the African American community should go, and he's very enlightened on the fact of the of knowledge of the history, of the plight that black people had to have, people of color had to have, people of melon here in the United States, and but I did have oral surgery on the 11th of this month, so and that was a couple of days afterwards. So I'm gonna double check his name. I did go ahead and download, not download, but shared uh, shared the doctor's speeches and lecture on my page, so it's there. But I remember one thing that sort of struck me and sort of stood out is the fact when he's saying, oh, it's not the woman. I know what they mean. It's like it's not the woman's fault, especially when they brought him over to to breed. And I guess one of the major things that happened, and it causes one of the biggest problems we have in the black community is that there is such a thing as a rejection of one's child, maybe because you know of like the early torture of being separated from your child and no longer being able to your milk dries up, so and then if they wanted to use the wet nurse they couldn't use you either. So but you have to understand that we have heightened white women's level in society, but when at that time, uh, because of the institution of marriage and the way women have been looked upon by white males, um, that in some ways we were equal too, if not but as you can see now with the objectification of women in the sex industry, um, that we have other problems, you know, because there's sort of a taboo that goes along with it. There's a taboo that goes along with early pregnancies, and the biggest problem with early pregnancies is that the fact that women are the only mammals that do die, and the fact that for them to have an early pregnancy, there must have been some sexually misappropriate behavior going on before time to cause her to menstruate early, and somebody that just been going through menopause here, that that's so long to have them start earlier than they should. That's not really fair to the female either. And the body is more developed around after 16. Of course, that's still a teenager, but it's more anything after 16. There's more the more finished like development in a lot of ways. Um, and we're not talking about the mental development. We're talking about the physical development and where once the let's say the feet stop growing. But then you could see more of it like that's more of the age where individual. But anyway, but I do see that a lot of things that well I do see that the whole community as a whole has has been compromised by a lot of the propaganda that people that came from war struck in Europe, and that type of mentality uh, has inflicted. You know, because uh, I don't know. We could see in today. Well, actually, a lot of the things that the Dr. Anderson had said made plenty of good sense to the fact um, that today that I could actually, you know, see what he was talking about. I've seen the progress of the decline of our urban or our cities. Um, um, uh, uh, because of the type of politics that is geared towards jailing black folks or you know, but the thing is, I think that in some areas and some places that really, I do think that if there was some type of exit or some type of boycott of some of the way we live, you know, through our economics, or through us not spending money, maybe not going to McDonald's, maybe not buying Coca-Cola, these little things, maybe getting away from cold cereal, maybe not drinking, just changing our whole diet to maybe like, not eating ramen noodles because of the MSG in it, not drinking soda that has or any food that has red dye number 40 in it that's cancer produced, and it's just because you can't really stop buying everything that is geared to destroy us, but we can start being more choosy, and you and if men just made one, because one of the ways they really get you good is when you get into their X-rated stuff, look at their X-rated stuff, um, and that is like I guess if you're like poor or something, it doesn't probably matter as much as blackmail and embezzlement, but what could matter more is the fact that so much money gets drained out of our community and out of our pockets, and it's a way of uh, well, it's just a good way to destroy the structure of family if you have to, because you see a lot of times in the black community, the guys are oversex young. It makes them, um, I guess I always think that they should probably think of the household they grew up in with the females, but that doesn't necessarily work. But it makes a disconnection between the family and and the role that men and women should play in their child upbringing, and to where they're not getting the right type of information. And it's a lot like Dr. Anderson said, because we have to have the information to where we know that we have to be creative enough to keep our money in our community, let it roll in our community 6 times. And in a sense, when I think he says that, let's say, for instance, you take old aluminum cans, instead of collecting them and selling them, you decide to make windmill to make your own electricity with them. And so say like the only people that are really interested in buying them are maybe the people in this community. So maybe one or two people buy them from you, and then you start making money, and then maybe you could hire maybe one of the people that bought one of your windmills. You could hire one of the like their child, to say, to mow your grass, and because you got to make more windmills. So say that you get instead of just getting 2 or 3 orders a month, now you're getting 9 or 10 orders, so you might need one extra person to help. So you might get your get your brother to help. So and so that this way, like the money that you're making is going like to staying in your community. And like around here we used to have ladies to make hot tamales. Like say at lunchtime, instead of going to McDonald's or something, you go to you get the food from a local person that makes hot tamales or something. She was making them out of their house or whatever. Or you might get like in New Orleans, like maybe there's a local guy that makes does a crawford boil. So you know what I'm saying. So it's like this, or say, you know, but being more creative like that, and also his idea of only getting your materials and buying from your own. Oh well, anyway, so I made a mistake. I was, I like doing these videos, so I gotta go. I gotta go do my hair, and I'm ready before I go to sleep. It's wet. Night night.